In basing these books on the different seasons, I also wanted to incorporate kind of a reflection of our own lives as believers, as well as in the church. And in Beauty Restored, I kind of made it a world where the people kind of maybe knew about the great mage, who was my God character, and the mage's son, who is my Christ character, once upon a time. And so it's not that they never knew about God or knew about the great mage, but they've just kind of been forgotten for a long time. And so it kind of just shows this barren winterland that kind of reflects what life is like without the presence of God in your life. And the spring realm is quite a contrast. And so in the spring realm, I kind of wanted to make it more like the church. The spring realm is known as the realm of light. And so Genesia, the ruling kingdom of the realm, is also the kingdom of light. Genesia I took from the word Genesis, which means beginnings. And it is just kind of this realm that's supposed to emulate new birth and rebirth and new life. And it is supposed to emulate like everything that is the essence of the great mage and the mage's son. And with how the winter realm was so separated and far apart from and distanced from the great mage and his son, you kind of see quite a difference in the spring realm. So the spring realm, because it's the realm of light, they're very accustomed to having visits from the mage's son. They're used to working with him. They're very familiar with him. And you kind of see a little glimpse of that at the end when Gabriel approaches the mage's son and addresses him, and there's that familiarity, like he's known him his whole life. And so there's just this very close interaction with the mage's son in the spring realm, which is cool. But also, I wanted to portray kind of how the church and believers can be, and how it's not enough to just dwell in the kingdom of light. You have to have that active decision to be a follower of Christ or a follower of the great mage and his son. And so it's kind of just this interesting dichotomy compared to the winter realm. So you see all these people that are supposed to be dwelling in the kingdom of light. They're all supposed to be children of light. And very much like that in the church and as Christians and believers, we can be doing all of the right things all the time. We can be going to church all the time. We can be raised in a Christian home. We can go to Christian schools. We can do all of the right things, and we can just have that outward appearance of being a good Christian and a good follower of Christ and being an awesome church, an amazing church. And none of that means anything unless you actually have that personal relationship with Christ and God. And so kind of just showing that contrast of the beauty. And so kind of just showing that even though they're the kingdom of light, that may not necessarily mean that they're devoid of darkness, So as the church, and Jesus addressed this with the Pharisees in the New Testament when he was on earth, he called them whitewashed tombs because they were so focused on just following the law and looking religious or looking pious or looking holy. And yet they were so judging, they were so condemning, and they weren't actually following God. They themselves had elevated themselves as God, and their pride had gotten in the way of God's intention for how life was supposed to be lived. And so we have that tendency a lot as the church ourselves and as believers. And so I just wanted to really show that in this book of Beauty Redeemed, of how even though we could look very much like the religious, righteous people that we're supposed to be, we may not be the true believers that God called us to be.